Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here with us right now, because today we're going on a mission to completely demystify the universal foundations of programming. We're talking variables, types, and operators. And look, whether you're coding in C++, Java, or Python, the underlying logic is exactly the same. So we're going to break it all down, clear away any confusion, and look at exactly how these three major languages handle the absolute foundational building blocks of code. But, before we can even begin to do any complex math or make those intelligent decisions in our code, we kind of have to ask a very fundamental question. How does a computer actually remember anything? Before a program can calculate a sum or, say, display a user's name on a screen, it absolutely needs a way to store and recall that information in its brain. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, unboxing variables, then the core data types, after that, static versus dynamic typing, operators in action, language quirks, and finally, bringing it together.
So starting with Section 1, Unboxing Variables.
When we programmers talk about variables, what's actually happening in the computer's RAM? Well, at its core, a variable is really just a named storage location holding a value. Try to picture a massive warehouse. A variable is essentially a labeled box sitting on a shelf somewhere in that warehouse. The label on the outside of the box? That's the variable's name. And the specific piece of data tucked inside that box is its value. And, just like a real physical box, what you put inside it can vary or change while your program is actually running.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how the life cycle of that box breaks down into three pretty simple steps. First up, declaration and allocation. This is exactly when the computer reserves a specific spot in memory. It basically builds the box and slaps a label on it. Second is assignment. This is where you use the equal sign to actually store data inside that memory spot. You're physically putting an item in the box. And third, retrieval and update. Whenever your code mentions that variable's name later on, the computer literally rushes to the warehouse, finds the box, and looks up that stored value. And the best part? You can override it with a brand new value anytime you want.
Moving right along to Section 2, the core data types. So every box in our warehouse needs to be designed for specific data, right? You wouldn't pour liquid into a cardboard box. It's the same idea here. All three of these languages share these universal building blocks. If you want whole numbers, you're going to use integers, which is represented by int. Need decimals? Use floating point types like double or float. And for true or false values, you've got booleans. But, notice the slight localized syntax variations here. For a sequence of characters, C++ uses a lowercase string, Java goes with an uppercase string, and Python just shortens it to str. The core concept is absolutely identical. It's really only the spelling that changes.
All right, Section 3, static versus dynamic typing.
This right here is what I like to call the great divide in programming. It's all about how strictly you must label those boxes up front. So, looking at Java and C++, they are statically typed. That means they're pretty rigid. You absolutely must explicitly state the data type right before the variable name. You basically have to tell the computer, hey, this box is for integers only by writing int num equals 15. But then look at Python. Python is dynamically typed. It's intuitive, it's flexible. You literally just write num equals 15, and Python automatically looks at that number 15 and says, okay, that's a whole number. I'll just go ahead and make this an integer box behind the scenes.
This brings us to Section 4, Operators in Action.
Okay, variables are great and all, but operators are the symbols that actually make our programs do things. And this brilliantly illustrates how the most common mathematical symbols are completely universal. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division use the exact same plus, minus, asterisk, and forward slash across all three languages. No surprises there. But check out the bottom two rows. Python introduces some incredibly handy, unique shortcuts here. While C++ and Java actually require you to call specific math functions for things like exponents or floor division, Python lets you just drop in a double asterisk for a base to power calculation and a double slash to divide and instantly round down. Super clean.
Of course, beyond basic math, our programs constantly need to compare values to make decisions. And again, checking if things are equal or greater than, that's universal. But look at the logical operators at the bottom. To check if two things are true at the exact same time, C++ and Java use a double ampersand symbol for and, a double pipe for or, and an exclamation mark for not. Python, really leaning into its famous readability, just uses plain English words for these, and, or, and not.
And when we want to update our variables, we use assignment shortcuts. So all three languages support compound operators like plus equals or minus equals.
However, I really want to draw your attention to the bottom of this list. In C++ and Java, it is incredibly common to use the plus plus or minus minus operators to just quickly increase or decrease a number by 1. Python, surprisingly, completely drops support for these. In Python, you strictly use the compound assignment, like x plus equals 1.
So the crucial point here is this: math is universal. The logical concepts of adding, comparing, and assigning are completely identical, whether you're in Tokyo, New York, or, inside a Java compiler. The syntax, the specific symbols you type on your keyboard, is just local. If you truly understand the underlying logic of what you want to achieve, you just need to learn the local dialect of whichever language you happen to be using at the time.
Let's move to Section 5, Language Quirks.
Because every local dialect has its slang and, definitely, its pitfalls. Let's start with C++. A really big quirk here is integer division. If you divide two integers, say 10 divided by 3, C++ will just drop the decimal entirely. It doesn't round to 3.33, it just straight up returns 3. If you actually want the remainder, which would be 1 in this scenario, you have to use the modulo operator, which is that percent sign. Also, you're going to often see using namespace std at the very top of C++ files. That's really just a handy shortcut, so you don't have to endlessly type std::: every single time you want to print something out to the screen.
Now, moving over to Java. The biggest takeaway is actually just how similar it is to C++. It shares completely identical arithmetic and increment operator syntax, and yep, just like C++, Java has that exact same integer division gotcha. If you divide 10 by 3 using integer variables in Java, it is going to blindly truncate that decimal and just give you 3.
Python, on the other hand, has some really elegant solutions to these little quirks. It completely solves that division confusion by simply giving you two distinct operators. A single slash will always give you the precise decimal, so 10 single slash 3 is going to give you 3.33. But if you actually want to drop the decimal, you use the double slash for floor division. And like we noted earlier, Python skips those plus plus operators altogether, but it makes up for it by giving you that beautiful built-in double asterisk for exponents.
Let's move to Section 6 and see how this all builds, bringing it together.
So we've talked about storing data, defining our types, and using operators. Now let's actually see how this builds into something real. The cool thing is, regardless of the language, building a simple calculator program that just adds two numbers together requires the exact same 3 universal logic steps. Step 1, we have to declare our variables and read the user's input. Step 2, we calculate the sum using that addition operator. And finally, step 3, we display that result back to the user. It's that simple. But look at how the local syntax completely changes how much typing we actually have to do. C++ and Java, they're heavy. Because they're statically typed, they require a lot of boilerplate code. You need explicit types like int sum. You have to import scanner utilities just to read a keyboard input, and you got to wrap the whole shebang inside a main function. Python, though, is just incredibly concise. Because it dynamically casts types, you can literally just wrap an input command inside an int command, do your math, and run a simple print function. It accomplishes the exact same 3 steps, but in a fraction of the code.
And honestly, that is the true beauty of understanding the foundations. You now know exactly how variables work under the hood, how types can either restrict or free them, and how operators manipulate them. The underlying logic is fully yours now. So I'll leave you with this final thought. You now possess the universal logic of programming. So which local syntax are you going to choose to master first? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and happy coding!